What's going on, everyone? This is Fred, Fredian.com, and today I'm going to show you how to build a milk crate mining rig. Alright, so here's everything that you need to build your own milk crate mining rig. Now I will place some links down below so that you can get started on your project, but most of the hardware that you see here came from my previous video titled DIY Litecoin Mining Rig. Now we're going to use all the same parts, except we're going to transfer everything into a milk crate. So let's go over all the parts that you need in addition to the parts listed in the previous video. So the first item that you need is a milk crate. As you can see, I've already cut out a few holes in this crate, which I'll go over later. But the reason why we want to place our mining rig inside a milk crate is because it provides better airflow. Now, as you saw in the first video when we installed the GPUs directly on the motherboard, the spacing between each GPU is pretty close. Now, this could cause some overheating issues, cause high temps, which is exactly what we want to avoid. That's why with a milk crate, we are able to lift the GPUs off the motherboard, space them out further apart, allowing better airflow and cooler temperatures. And to do that, we will also need riser cables. Now this is a 1x to 16x PCI Express extension cable. Now what this allows you to do is plug in the 1x connector directly to your motherboard, and it extends into a 16x connection. This is where you plug in your GPUs. Now this allows you to lift your GPUs above the motherboard, giving it more airflow and cooling down the temps. Now another feature on this cable is that this is a powered cable by this Molex connector right here. Now what this does is it connects directly to your power source, and it's going to take stress off of your motherboard by directly powering the GPUs. And you'll need some type of support brace. What I have here is just some 3/4 inch PVC pipe. Now what this does is that it gives your GPUs something to rest on, like so. Now you don't need to use PVC. The only reason I'm using PVC is because I recently installed sprinklers in my front yard, so I have a lot of these pipes left over. But you could use wood, you could use metal, basically anything that will give your GPU some solid support. Now you also want to pick up some of these plastic bumpers. Now we're going to stick this to the bottom of the milk crate, and it's going to give your motherboard something to sit on. And finally, you're going to need some zip ties. Everything that we do here today is going to be secured by zip ties. So once you have all the parts that you need, you have to decide on the placement of your motherboard and power supply. Now fortunately for me, I'm able to fit both of them inside the crate. Now if you're not able to fit both of them in the crate, you can always place your power supply on the outside, securing them with zip ties. So this is the placement that I have decided on. So once that's settled, go ahead and cut out any part of the crate that may be covering some of the connections that you need. I also cut out part of the crate that was covering the power supply's fan. I did this hoping to reduce any type of turbulence that it may cause. Once you're satisfied with the placement, begin putting the plastic bumpers on the bottom of the crate. Just place them wherever you feel makes sense. And secure the motherboard by using zip ties. Then do the same thing for the power supply. So next up, we're going to put in the support brace. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, this is just a PVC pipe, but you can use whatever you like. Now I did make a cut in the sides of the crate so that it's going to sit flush like that. Now let me grab the GPUs and I'll show you what they look like. So the goal of this brace is to fully support the back of the GPUs. Now the front of the GPUs is supported by this lip on the crate. Now this allows you to place the GPUs at any distance that you want. So as you can see here, I have a lot more space available to me. Now I could fit 2, maybe even 3 more GPUs. It's really going to depend on what motherboard you decide to go with. Now go ahead and secure the support brace with more zip ties. So here's an optional step. I have one of these fans laying around, so what I'm going to do is use this as an exhaust. I'm going to place it on the outside of the crate in the back of the GPUs, trying to exhaust any hot air out. If you want to use this as an intake, you can just flip it around and blow cool air in. That's pretty much up to you. So again, I'm going to secure these with zip ties. And another optional step that you can take is I drilled out 3 holes on top of the crate, and this is where I'm going to place my switches. So I have my power switch, my reset switch, and the power LED. So what you can do is just go ahead and glue them in place, like so. Alright, so we are almost done here. Now before we plug in the GPUs, it's going to make it a lot easier for us to plug in all the power supply cables prior to installing the GPUs. So we should go ahead and install the motherboard power supply, the CPU power supply, the PCI cables that we'll need for each GPU, and the Molex power supply for the riser cables. Okay, so once you have all your cables installed and tidied up, you can now go ahead and install the 1X to 16X riser cables. So what we want to do is just take the 1X side and literally just plug them in to the PCI-E slots. So again, I have 3 of them. So we have all 3 in. Now we just need to connect the Molex power cables to each one and then plug our GPUs in to the 16X slots. Alright, so we are ready to install the GPU. So we have all the riser cables installed and powered. So this is the 16X side. So we could just go ahead and plug in the GPUs. After that's plugged in, we will plug in the PCIe power cables that go directly to the GPUs. Okay, and our final GPU. Okay, well, I'm going to turn this around. We'll plug in the PCI cables. So once you're satisfied with the placement of GPUs, you want to secure it to the crate. Now you could do so by either drilling in a screw or even just some nails on the lip of this crate. That'll hold it nice and tight. The back portion will support the rear of the GPUs, and you should be good to go. That's pretty much all there is to it, guys. Alright, so that should give you a good idea on how to set everything up. Like I mentioned earlier, most of the hardware that we use came from my previous video titled DIY Litecoin Mining Rig. We're just taking those same parts and transitioning them into a milk crate. Now if you need help installing those parts, check out that video for more details. But thanks for watching this video, hopefully it helped, and I'll see you on the next one.